What is going on, movie meals? I'll tell you what's going on. A lot of things are happening right now. We are here for a fun little podcast. We've been trying to get this going for the last week. We've got Kyle here, of course, jumping on the Weaver Wire. And first, I dropped my pen. And first time on the show, our good friend Josh. Say hello, Josh.
Hey, guys.
Love Josh. Josh lives in Spain. He's a special guy. He speaks a lot of languages. Good friend of ours, Josh. Happy to have you here. We're going to talk all things. We're going to talk some Marvel Fox stuff because that would be a fun convo. Maybe talk a little bit of the Henry Cavill news, as well as whatever we're feeling because it's a podcast and that's what you do. But before we get into the nerd stuff, I just want to say, everybody be safe out there. Things are going nuts. Be safe. Be kind to one another. I can't stop reading the news and being on Twitter. It's taking a toll. Black Lives Matter. Racist people, done with you. Get out of here. I'm done with you. That's my little soapbox. Stay safe, everyone. We're in small cities. Maybe Josh isn't. He's in Spain. But we are, Kyle and I.
Protest over here.
I would be shocked if you did.
No, we've actually had some. Apparently, I read that there were some protests in London, the U.S. Embassy in England.
Good.
One in Germany and one in the Netherlands or something like that.
Well, we are all
not here yet.
For everybody being safe over at Movie Meals. We all support justice for George Floyd as well as everybody else who has been a victim. And now and Kyle, do you have anything you want to add, or should we just transition to the nerd stuff? Get a little sweaty here.
Yeah, I just want to echo what you're saying, Alex, what Josh is saying as well. Everyone be safe, but this is an important time that we're in right now. We got to make our voices heard. This has been a problem that's gone far too long, so let's try and fix this thing. Let's see how much we can do, but please be safe about it. We'll keep you in your thoughts, and we'll do all we can to support, that's for sure.
We stand with you. It's on our small little YouTube channel, but we stand with you. All right, let's just get into some movie news, try to bring a little bit of fun topics to tough climate right now. So let's go right to the Henry Cavill stuff because that'll probably be the quickest, and then we'll get into some of the stuff Josh has prepared. So we'll start with Kyle. So Kyle, Henry Cavill might be playing Superman again. There are rumors he's talking to WB about maybe a cameo or maybe Man of Steel 2. What do you think about that, my guy?
Yeah. Let's do this. The Warner Bros. The new leadership, I forget what their names are, but the new leadership undo the wrongs that were done when they booted Cavill for whatever ungodly reason there is. Bring him back. Let's have him in some cameos. Let's have him in Man of Steel 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't care how many. Just let's
make 15 of them
done. Let's make 18 of them. Exactly. No, it's a no-brainer. I think it makes sense to bring him back. Despite all the chaos that happened previously with the DC movies, the one thing people can agree on is how good Henry Cavill was, I think.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
He's a dedicated actor for sure.
Yeah. Not
One
just
that
for
really dedicates himself to the role. Yeah, no, for sure. You see him I follow him on Instagram, so I have seen a lot of his build up for when he was playing Geralt in The Witcher, and you see him just building up and just how much how toned and how into the role he gets, making sure that he doesn't miss a beat, all this stuff, and you're just always kind of oh my gosh, how do you do this stuff? It's ridiculous. I can't believe it.
I think I think The Witcher is maybe a big reason why they brought him back. I think Henry, for a while, people didn't, because Man of Steel is split. Obviously, Batman v Superman and Justice League people don't like. It's tended much more negative than positive. Man of Steel, I think, slightly more positive than negative, but definitely split. But I think people really loved The Witcher, and I think people really loved him in The Witcher, and I think it turned a lot of people around on Henry Cavill as an actor, and I think that maybe all that talk kind of said to WB, and WB also, Kyle and I talked about this a couple podcasts ago, but WB's kind of in this place where they're saying, screw it, we're going to have 800 universes, we're going to do whatever we want, And maybe they just said, you know what? Let's just bring Henry back. He wants to do it, and we fans want a Man of Steel too, or him to be in Shazam. So yeah, I think Witcher
or in the Black Adam movie. I've heard. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Like he also wants to. There was also rumors of him and Black Adam. He's like an anti-hero, right? If I'm right, guys. I'm not big on DC.
I don't know. That's a Kyle question.
An anti-hero, Kyle? No.
It's a Kyle question.
Occasionally they lean into him being an anti-hero, but I think they're going to for Black Adam because it's The Rock, and The Rock probably wants to be the good guy.
Although I would love The Rock being a straight villain. That would be cool.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, he's certainly working for the role. Like you can see him as well. Just like same thing. You're just like, holy crap! Like it's just insane.
Josh, are you a fan of Man of Steel? Are you on the side with Kyle and I?
Yes. I mean, I did really like it. I haven't seen Superman in a while, like a really long time. But I think earlier, like Kyle and I have been talking about this, how like Brandon Routh from the Superman Returns. Like he almost seemed like too vanilla as a superhero, so it was kind of weird. And don't get me wrong, for the majority of the movie, when it becomes Man of Steel with Henry Cavill, like he was really good. But then like those final like minutes when he like snapped General Zod's neck, you kind of just like, whoa, like as an audience member. And I think like this was all like prior to like any like big superhero killings. I would argue for both Marvel and DC, like as in terms of like movies. So I think like just seeing like that violent of a thing happen, you were just kind of like, it was kind of just like shocked to see that it could happen. Sorry.
That scared me. Sorry, Josh. What were you saying?
I don't even remember.
I like how Superman breaks Zod's necks and everybody's like, I don't like this. Thor cuts off Thanos' head and everybody's fine with it because he killed half a galaxy. Oh, boo-hoo. Murders.
I guess like my argument is that this is like that's like 10 years later compared to like Superman Man of Steel came out in 2008, correct? Or am I wrong?
13, I think.
Right.
I think 13 is correcto.
Okay. But like there wasn't like any really violent death, I feel like, in superhero movies until I feel like Man of Steel came in and then just suddenly snapping God's neck.
You're being very mean to Charles Xavier's death in X-Men 3 United.
Talk about that movie. That movie is an embarrassment to be called a superhero movie, Alex. I'm sorry. Like,
this is why I love Josh. That's why you bring him on.
It's just one of those. It's one of those movies that you really can't ever consider a superhero movie. Like it's just.
You're being so mean to it.
So much faulty. There's just so much faultiness in this, and I'm pretty sure Kyle agrees with me on this because I think we've had many a discussion about.
Oh, I hate that movie.
Yeah, it's just not a very good movie. It's funny though because people. I think it's just because people weren't expecting like such a different take on Superman at the time when Man of Steel came out, which is fine. Like you can like your Superman however way you want, I suppose. But I remember as an audience member for the first time really being taken back to like, oh, he actually killed a man. But then thinking about the context of the movie and seeing the direction that they're trying to go, like they're trying to kind of humanize the character who just has discovered that he's a godlike being, and in that moment and whatnot, I just was like, well, I could get behind that. Like maybe it's wasn't the best choice looking back. I guess you could make an argument for it, but for me, it made all the more sense. So once I got past the shock of it all, I was on board where I was like, I dig Man of Steel. I like this movie.
Man of Steel's a good time, my guy. All right, should we transition to Marvel?
Yeah. I mean, that's all I had on DC, so yeah.
All right, we're going to transition. When we were talking about topics for this podcast, we were like, let's talk a little Fox Marvel merger again. We all forgot that happened, didn't we? Movies don't exist anymore, so we forgot it happened. But Disney bought Fox before a pandemic came around. Probably not smart on Disney, since they're losing a lot of money. But anyway, if movies return, how does Marvel bring the Fox characters into the MCU. And we're also going to touch on the rumors of John Krasinski and Emily Blunt being Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. And do either of you want to start this one off? A specific point, what you're hearing, or do you want me to do it?
For which, the John Krasinski one, or
go for either
X-Men?
Either.
I mean, so I've watched some videos on this stuff, especially with the mutants appearing. And the way I've seen it is that this could come two different ways. Is they kind of like trickle in certain mutants. For example, in a past like X-Men or Marvel cartoon, I don't know which one, Kyle, you're gonna have to tell me on this one. There was actually like kind of a rivalry between Rogue and Captain Marvel. And so people are like playing with the idea of her coming into like being a player in Captain Marvel 2 and possibly gaining like these abilities to fly. In addition, I've seen stuff. What was the other one? Oh, one of the ones that I actually never thought about, but came up in one of the videos that I was watching was the idea of having who was it again? Oh my god! Oh, it was Ursa Major in the Black Widow movie.
Who the heck is that?
He is a bear. so basically like you have like Captain America and like kind of like the Avengers, but then like the writers decided to kind of create like a Russian version of the Avengers, so to speak, and so like we see a lot of them in, I think, the Scarlet Witch, or sorry,
Black Widow.
Thank you, Black Widow. God, I am spacing every name. Can't understand why. Yes, the Black Widow. Like we've seen a lot of like the characters that were part of the original like Russian like kind of Captain America thing, and so Ursa Major is considered a mutant, and is just kind of like this bear, from what I can understand. I didn't actually really research a lot into it, but they're throwing that out there because obviously like this is going to be with a bunch of it's going to interlace a lot with how Black Widow like came to be and like her character, and then like from the looks of it, at least, I mean I could be wrong, just like how she becomes part of the team, of a different team at least, before she becomes part of the Avengers kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, I for a long time I remember we've talked on this channel that there was a good idea floating around the internet that Avengers Infinity War's end credit scene was going to be I had suggested the idea of like a news reporter saying that so much cosmic radiation had been released on Earth that some humans were being dubbed as mutants and developing abilities, and like that was that was all your end credit scene is. I always thought that was a great way to introduce the X-Men. Obviously they didn't do that, and they didn't address it in Far From Home at all. So, I mean, they could still do something like that. I think they'll go Fantastic Four before they bring in the mutants.
Okay.
I do think John Krasinski and Emily Blunt would be a fantastic choice. I like some of the ideas you're floating around of the Black Widow with kind of Russia going after him. I think that could bring in some cool political stuff to the MCU. But I do think they're going to go Fantastic Four before they go with anything else. And I think those two are the perfect to fill out or start your team for the four of those characters. I think they would be great. And if John Krasinski directed, I'm all for that. I think he's knocked it out of the park with A Quiet Place, and if A Quiet Place 2 is going to be good, he's, I'm all for that. I'm all for it. Kyle, what are your thoughts here?
My approach to this is kind of wait and see. I do agree with Alex that I think they'll want to bring in Fantastic Four before X-Men. That might be just an easier transition to do. But yeah, I think it's just, even still, I think that Fantastic Four, it's still going to be quite a few years before we actually see something turn up. But as of now, yeah, I mean, I like the fan casting of Krasinski and Emily Blunt as Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman. That'd be perfect. But you never
What
know.
have you guys
In a
thought
couple
of for
of
the other two though? Like I guess like the thing that I've like so like obviously like if Krasinski and Emily Blunt take those first two roles, who do you guys think would then be the Torch and
Michael B. Jordan and what's his
you
face?
think? I would love to have Michael B. Jordan return as the Torch.
Bring him back. They're never
Yeah,
gonna
he
bring
was-
them back. There was. Do you remember there were rumors of for a while that Marvel, once they bought Fox, would just open portals to other dimensions and they would just bring that cast over? There were rumors about that for a bit, that they would just have that.
I heard that with multiverse with the second Doctor Strange. So
Yeah.
I've heard like a rumor that like they're gonna throw in like a kind of like a way to honor like past Spider-Man actors in the Doctor Strange 2, like as he's exploring the multiverse kind of thing. That that he's gonna enter a world where like Andrew Garfield is a Spider-Man and another one where Tobey Maguire is a Spider-Man kind of thing.
Those rumors have been heating up for the last maybe 8 months or so too, of doing a Spider-Man movie with all three of those guys.
That'd be insane. It'd be really cool, I think, to see like how they would interact, because I think they all kind of come from different points. Like like obviously the first two Spider-Mans, like they both kind of, you could see it visually. We all saw visually like as they suffered from the deaths of Uncle Ben. Whereas obviously by the point of Tom Holland, the director was just like, okay, if you don't know the story of Spider-Man, of how Spider-Man becomes Spider-Man already, like get the GTFO kind of thing.
Yeah,
because like they're just sick of like trying to like find somebody to cast as Uncle Ben kind of thing.
And really Tony is MCU's Peter's Uncle Ben. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's Tony
and
for
him.
him.
I think that was a good.
I call him Uncle Ben 2.0.
That's what he is.
There's an Uncle Ben somewhere.
That's
Don't
really
check
what he
Uncle
is. And they handled that so well in Far From Home. You know, you brought up the multiverse here with Doctor Strange 2, and if you're gonna introduce the mutants soon, that's probably the best spot to do it. Is with with Doctor Strange, whether it's why him going through the multiverse, that him and Wanda both release energy that causes mutants, or they connect to Earths that have mutants on them. That's probably the best way, I think, to do it. And then introduce the Fantastic Four through its own movie with Spider-Man and those guys who are left.
Yeah,
I did not think about the. Oh, sorry, Josh, you go.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, the thought of Doctor Strange introducing mutants did not even cross my mind. Like, I almost completely forget about his second movie coming out, and that they're actually wanting to deal with multiverses, at least by the sounds of the title. So that's actually a really good theory that maybe that's the way to do it.
And you know, the Multiverse of Madness, actually, when they announced everything, was instantly one of my most anticipated of everything. And it was really because of WandaVision. Because of once they finally explained what WandaVision is, that she's going to create her own world with Vision, her own life with him, and then it's going to play into Doctor Strange with her and him in his movie. It got me a lot more hyped to flesh that out. And I'm just so curious how they're going to do it. And mutants would be an interesting way to end that, and then maybe have Doctor Strange kind of having to deal with that if they give him a third movie or something. But I'm excited for the future if we ever get movies again. But I like the Doctor Strange link there. I think that's good.
I mean, Kyle and I have been talking a little bit about this, about how like mutants will be kind of brought in, and one of the comic series at least that Kyle showed me that actually I feel like ties in a lot with the WandaVision is the
Is what?
The House of M, Alex. It's a comic series that came out in what year was this, Kyle? I'm sorry.
Oh, I think it's early 2000s. I can check for you.
It's amazing. Honestly, Alex, you have to read it. Like it's like a phenomenal series. It's basically, so the concept is that like basically so like very very much like WandaVision. So Wanda has created like this like this reality where Vision's still alive, and this is after like a lot of X-Men had been killed, right, from something from her originally, right? Like she had like killed a lot of Avengers or something like that. Before,
Yeah, it comes after the Avengers Disassembled arc, where part of it is that she turned crazy after her husband, the Vision, dies during the events. So she's basically created her own reality where, you know, she's still with Vision, like she was able to have her kids that she was hoping to have, and it basically it comes to the decision between the X-Men and current Avengers teams that they should probably have to take her out because she's gotten so powerful that it's beyond anyone's control, even like Professor X's. And so then it just leads to her creating like an alternate universe where like everyone gets what they want, and they slowly come to realize. Anyway, it's basically what they're maybe going to touch on in WandaVision. We'll see, but it seems like quite a bit of WandaVision will be based on.
You know, as you guys are both explaining it, I think I remember reading a lot about the synopsis of that, and I've heard of the House of M before, but I think it just kind of got buried in my memory. But
it's really good.
I think that's their plan.
There's so many spin-offs too.
I think that's their plan. Is WandaVision is going to be their version of the House of M, with just instead of the Avengers thinking of taking her out, it's just going to be probably Doctor Strange. Because he is the protector of their reality, and if she's threatening that, I think that works. Here's a question I thought of, though, while you guys were talking. Marvel is going ahead, and they're eventually going to release New Mutants. Have they shot something that they're going to say is tied in, and that's going to be their introduction into mutants, into the MCU? Do they go ahead and just say that's it? It's New Mutants? Do they like the movie enough? This is my question.
I personally don't think they're going to. I think they're just hoping to get this released as fast as possible, hopefully capitalize on how much money they can make theatrically and kind of call it done. Unless if it becomes a surprise hit, they might try something, but I think, I just don't think that they're wanting to do that. I don't think that's the foreseeable plan.
Yeah, I think they like the movie. I think Kevin Feige sat down and liked what he saw, or a cut of it, you know, with the director, maybe with it was more horror or whatnot. I think he liked it. Because I think they would have put it on streaming service if Disney really didn't think it was worth putting in the theaters. I think they would have just thrown it on Hulu.
I don't know about that. I don't know. Just by the sounds of it, it seems like that they think that since it's a superhero movie and has the Marvel tag on it, that they could probably try and make as much money as possible, whereas with streaming, that's not quite how it can work as well. So I'm sure, like, maybe if I did see the movie, maybe he did like it, but it also could be out of his hands to where Disney's like, no, we just want you to make your own take on X-Men instead of trying to branch off of this. And again, maybe if it's a surprise hit, that could change, but that's just how I think it's being looked at right now.
I think they like it. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. Yeah, they would be a really good, or the Doctor Strange would be a really good way to bring in the mutants. So how do we bring in the Fantastic Four?
They show up.
They just show up one day?
My thing is that after the effects of, you know, what Thanos did with the Earth, is that maybe there's some reason for Reed Richards to have to go into space to do some research, or maybe it's on Earth, or maybe it's outside of Earth. I don't know, but maybe he has to go into space after what Thanos did. Maybe he changed the cosmos somehow. I don't know, but I think that could be at least an easier way of just being like, hey, we need someone to go into space to look at space stuff after that purple guy did the stuff. And John Krasinski comes in and he's like, hi, I directed A Quiet Place. I'll do it. And then he sends his team up, and that's how we get it. Yeah.
John Krasinski walks in.
Off the top of my head, anyway.
He walks into Kevin Feige's office and he goes, now look, I'll direct it, but it's a silent film. No talking. It's the only thing I'm good at right now. Silent movies.
That'd be really cool, actually, if they did like if they brought in like a superhero or superheroine with like that's like deaf kind of thing. Because I think that, or if they even could capitalize that with Hawkeye / Ronin right now, because in the comics he is actually like partially deaf, but like they don't necessarily put that in like TV series or or movies. Like, you know, it's just kind of shown as he's a normal guy kind of thing. But I think it'd be cool if they could maybe in some way incorporate like a deaf superhero or superhero or anything.
How many
But
Avengers?
I don't actually know if there are.
How
If
many
there
Avengers are
just
left?
Okay.
How many do we have? How many do we How many actors do we realistically think are going to really be a part of the future?
I think I would argue Chris Hemsworth for sure, because after his whole debut with Ragnarok, and people loving his fat Thor character, like I think he might appear in the next Guardians, honestly, because like he kind of went off with the Guardians at the end of Endgame.
Are we worried that they're going to replace him with Natalie Portman, since they did announce that she will be Lady Thor?
I'm not sure.
You think he'll stay? You guys think he'll stay for future movies?
I think it'd be dope if he would stay, because I really do love Chris Hemsworth. Like he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
And I love him in his Thor movies.
He seems not to get burnt out too, like Chris Evans got burnt out creatively, or even a little bit with Robert Downey Jr. He seems to just really love doing it.
I think Ragnarok helped.
Yeah, for sure. And Taika Waititi, and you know, his energy he brings as a director on sets and things like that. I think Thor. It sounds like they have no plans for Hulk outside of She-Hulk, but Mark Ruffalo keeps tweeting and stuff that he wants to come back. So
I have an idea for the Hulk, actually.
Let's hear it. Oh my gosh.
Planet Hulk or no?
No, because I already kind of touched on that in Ragnarok, and he's also like his Professor Hulk alter ego now, so I don't think there's any going back. But I think because he's Professor Hulk and he's kind of literally burnt to a crisp after Endgame, that maybe he's seen, Iron Man passed away, Chris Evans got old, Thor decided to say screw it and join the Guardians, that he's saying, you know what, there could be a good Avengers team. I think I'm gonna make my own Avengers team. And so he'll bring in like Spider-Man, and he'll bring in, I don't know, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, whoever they want.
If
whoever
they
else is left anyway.
they make him like their version of Professor X. Like he kind of takes the lead.
I was thinking Nick Fury, but yeah.
Or sure, Nick Fury and them. We were talking so much X-Men, but yeah, so Nick Fury ain't going nowhere. Sam L will you pay him, he shows up. He's a hardworking guy. I mean, he's in everything. I think I think we lost. We got him. We got them both.
What to do with Hulk?
You both froze. Nobody heard a word you said. Sure. The viewers did not hear a word you guys were saying.
I didn't say anything, so it doesn't matter.
Didn't hear a thing, Kyle. So Kyle's still frozen. Josh is here. Josh is here. Kyle's back. He was frozen.
Yeah, sorry, everyone froze.
I think Florence Pugh is going to be the new Black Widow. I think she's going to take up the moniker, and they're going to be done with Scarlett Johansson after this movie. I think she will join the Avengers, take up I'm Black Widow after the movie, and join the new Avengers crew. I think it's a great decision by Marvel too, because she's a talent, and there's nothing else you can do with Black Widow in the future. She died. You can't bring her back. Hulk said it. He tried. He failed. So I'm ranting, but I think her, Spider-Man, Ant-Man and the Wasp. They said they're doing a third movie. They can still be in a new Avengers film. Doctor Strange, Black Panther.
When they did.
What was that, Josh?
I said I just hope it's better than the last Ant-Man and the Wasp they did. I
kind of liked it. I had a fun little time with that movie.
It was like, I guess my thing was that like from Ant-Man, like I expected like with the moves that Angelina Jolie was constantly like proving to Scott Lang, like all the time. Like I was like, all right, she's gonna be really great, like whatever. But like I felt like they kind of made more like a joke out of it than like actually showing off her talent. You could see like her talent throughout like the first movie kind of thing. So I was a little bit disappointed, and I feel like they kind of suppressed her fighting skills, so to speak. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. And thank you for the little Ant-Man and the Wasp review there. I loved it. I got 2 questions to pose to you two here. All right. 1, Is Reed Richards linked to Tony Stark somehow? Because it seems like every villain now is, or every character now is, in some way, that Reed, like Jake Gyllenhaal was. There's just so many links to him. Will he be linked to him? And then my second question, there's a rumor that they are already trapped and they get their powers from the quantum realm. Do we think
the Fantastic Four and the quantum realm.
That right now, through all of the events that have happened, they are in the quantum realm and they are freed after the second snap? Do we think that is a possibility? Answer both questions. If I don't like them, I will hang up on you. Go.
Well, Josh, that's all you.
Great. What was the first question? I'm sorry.
Is Reed Richards linked to Tony Stark? Was he an intern? Did he work for him? Was he a rival? Is he linked to Tony somehow?
Honestly, like the way in the comics, the only way I could see it, just again from like movie or like just watching stuff on YouTube, was through the Illuminati. But the problem is that obviously they would have had to show like in secret, like Doctor Strange was working with all of them, and they're all secretly working together. But like that's like a far reach, if anything. I think if they were to show them linked, they would have to bring back Robert Downey Jr. for like reshoots to like show like past times and stuff like that. And as for the second question about the quantum realm, I never thought about that actually, like that they could have been in the quantum realm. Obviously Reed Richards is smart enough to know about that kind of stuff, but like I always figured like I didn't read a lot of Fantastic Four comics and stuff like that. So like the two times that I watched like the movie, they both got it from space. I thought it would be from space, to be honest. I know that sounds really bad, but
did they go to space in the Josh Trank one, or didn't they go to another dimension?
They went to some alien world where there was like Mountain Dew goo or something.
Yeah. Well, we've seen from Ant-Man 2 that if you're trapped in the quantum realm, you'll get powers because Michelle Pfeiffer was able to do fun hand healing.
Yeah, that just was bananas.
Kyle, what are your thoughts on my two questions I've posed?
Yeah, with the first question, what was it? Linked to Tony Stark? Right, okay.
Will he be linked to Tony in some way, shape, or form?
Seeing the pattern, odds are probably. And I also don't think you really need to have Robert Downey Jr. come back for any sort of shoot to show that anyway. Like, I'm sure Reed will be like, he was my mentor. People mistook him, and now, or something, whatever line they want to do. Personally, I would just like it if there wasn't a connection, just for a change, just for a character to be a character without needing to have like past characters as a crutch, just for me personally. But I wouldn't be shocked if there was any sort of connection. And what was the second question again? I don't know why I forget.
About
are they in the quantum realm?
Quantum realm.
That was a theory going around.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Either that or what they traditionally do and having them go into space and some cosmic rays hit them. Either way would work fine. I wouldn't have a problem with it. As long as it's explained well, like why they're in the quantum realm.
Yeah.
And explore that more. But yeah, that'd be fine. Sure.
Yeah, maybe they were working under Hank Pym, and they did an experiment that nobody knew and got trapped there as well, and
Hank Pym left them.
And Hank Pym didn't even know.
Next employees.
It could be too, if they do the Multiverse of Madness and they have like two Earths crash next to each other, combine or open a dimension or some, instead of mutants, they could always bring in the super genius from that world. Like Tony was never a super genius in that world or something, and it was Reed who was the super genius or something. But we need another genius. I mean, we've got Shuri, we've got Hulk, but Hulk doesn't seem to be doing a great job. He kind of. I mean, he helped make Ultron. He couldn't figure out time travel. So we need some more smarts in the game here.
I mean, I think like as you were saying, like Shuri for sure. Like I think she'll become definitely a more prominent role in future films.
I hope so.
Black Panther 2 you know, other ones where they mesh superheroes together. Because like when she was like talking about rearranging Vision's stone and stuff like that, and she's like, oh well, this will take me to blah blah blah, and she was like talking with oh my god, Bruce Banner. She's talking with Bruce Banner, and she was like, well, why didn't you do this? And he was just kind of like, I don't know, like kind of whatever kind of thing. And like I think that really kind of like proved the smarts of Shuri, like just like how smart of like a person she can be, and how like just with the inventions that she created and stuff like that like are just so fantastic. And I want to see more of those inventions, because they just like in Black Panther they really like blew your mind with like some of the concepts. And I just want to see more of her smarts being applied into it, because I think like she needs to be in that, because she's so important and so vital to this universe, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What do we think of this? If Multiverse of Madness rips open a portal or to another Earth, and they're mutants, do we go with an Avengers movie where we get the mutants versus the Avengers, and we get every Avenger we've got left, and we go fight all these new actors playing the new mutants that they'll end friends, but they fight for half the movie? Do we want a Civil War like that? Do we? I do.
Not right away.
Yeah, I agree with Kyle.
I want it now.
Right away. I would at least like to get to know these new characters, these X-Men characters. What was that, Josh?
I was just saying, like you were saying, like to see the development in these characters, like these X-Men characters that are getting dropped on us suddenly.
Yeah, the reason why the Avengers versus X-Men series kind of works is because like we know about these characters and the events leading up to it, to where the story makes sense. I just don't really want that to be rushed, if that was the way that they would go, personally.
All right,
so
next.
Like right after Doctor Strange 2? Probably not, no.
Tweet question. It rips open a timeline, and it's all of the actors. They decide to come back from like the First Class era. We get Fassbender, we get James McAvoy. All the actors agree, they love it, and then we get X-Men we know versus a new band of Avengers. Do we want it? Yes or no? I do.
Well, I would just like to first point out that actually, the guy Patrick Stewart has actually met with Kevin Feige about playing Charles Xavier.
I love it.
So he might actually end up being Professor X again. So I've seen arguments at the same time, though, like when you're talking about Logan, like people thought that both like obviously like Wolverine and Professor X were put to like good rest, like permanent good rest. They were like, no, like we're done. Kind of like shutting down kind of thing, and not wanting to suddenly bring the back.
Yeah, but now the big bad mouse is coming in and changing things up, baby. Sorry, go ahead, Kyle.
One stays dead now.
Go ahead, Kyle.
True.
I forgot what point I was gonna make was
something about Charles Xavier.
The First Class group. I mean, I want justice for that group, because they had to do Apocalypse and then Dark Phoenix back to back. But I'm ready for something new, and I think after a couple of years of waiting, I'll be more pumped to see X-Men, especially like a new X-Men group. Yeah, but justice for the First Class group. They deserve better.
Yeah, well, specifically, honestly, Jen Lawrence, I love ya. You don't deserve better. You could have showed up. But McAvoy and Fassbender, I would, they getting another chance I'd like. And all the young, like, kids, because they didn't get a good treatment in Apocalypse, but they did get a good treatment, because they're in Days of Future Past, aren't they? Aren't they, like, briefly in Days of Future Past, or is it just Apocalypse?
The younger group was in Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix.
Oh, well, then they deserve it, because they're all talented actors. Sophie Turner, all of them are great, and they deserve another shot. I'd be for it. I'm for. I would watch Kevin Feige eat a jar of peanut butter right now. I want a movie so bad. So let's just
all right,
just make something. Kevin Feige, that's gonna be on Twitter next because he's a fan.
I actually have a question for you, Kyle. Of the Avengers
Hi.
versus X-Men
What about me?
fights, well,
Alex, please.
you didn't really read Avengers stuff, did you?
It's my
I thought Kyle was
podcast. No, go ahead.
That's
Ask
the
your
question.
Yeah,
question.
but like, would you know? I'm trying.
Ask
Okay.
it, and we'll find out.
Okay, of the Avengers versus X-Men, the only time they fought was Dark Phoenix, right? Like when the Dark Phoenix, like after, like this came after House of M. This was like when there were even fewer X-Men kind of thing, because Scarlet Witch's famous last line, "No more X-Men." Like there's less X-Men, and then like because of that, the Phoenix Force came back, but like it got split into 4 or 5 of them. Like it got split into Scott. What's the name of the Russian metal dude his name?
Oh, Colossus.
Thank you, Colossus. Psylocke and somebody else. I can't remember the fourth one. But like the Phoenix Force gets split into 4 characters, and that's the only Avengers vs. X-Men I know. I just didn't know if there were any other ones. And Alex, yeah, you know the answer to this. You're free to answer it. I just asked Kyle because he's read the comics.
I do know
Sorry,
the answer.
I
do know the answer. The only real war was the Clone Wars. You know, we had wars in Legends with some Sith and Jedi, but oh wait, we're talking Marvel. No, I've got no clue. Kyle, go for it.
It's funny. I have the
So
Avengers
funny.
versus X-Men comic book on my shelf right now, but it's been a few years. I'm trying to remember all the details. I mean, I'm sure there's been like, you know, special edition, special edition series or single comic books where like, oh no, the Colossus fights Captain America, or, you know, something like that. But yeah, I just know mainly of the only one, which is Avengers versus X-Men. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of much sweatier people in the comment sections being like, actually, which
Please
is
sweat away.
called out.
Yeah, we probably, yeah.
I think Fantastic Four is what I'd want first. If New Mutants is good, I'd be down for them to have pulled a little trickery and bring that into the MCU because they got some talent as well. How early do we want Deadpool? Speaking of the Fox characters, when do we want a Deadpool movie? Do we want him to be brought in with the multiverse of madness? Do we just want him to make a movie and he just brings it up, breaking the fourth wall?
Like, I could see him in like a cameo, like kind of thing, or like something comical where like Doctor Strange like enters like his universe and he's like in the toilet or like on the toilet or something like that, and he's like, "What the hell?" like kind of thing, or something like very comical and very like crude, so to speak. Like I could see it like that, but like at the moment, like, I mean, I'm fine with not necessarily having a new Deadpool because now they have Cable, who is an extremely powerful X-Men at the moment, and I mean, they don't really like he's been known to like, you know, destroy like the other X-Men or destroy whatever because he's just so ridiculously like OP, the comics and stuff. And so like right now they have Cable, so they have to like figure out how to introduce him because I feel like he's going to be part of like the what are they called? Deadpool Squad? I'm sorry, the
X-Force.
Oh, I don't remember.
Don't they go under X-Force? I think
X-Force,
they go under
that's
X-Force.
Is it X-Force? Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
X-Force.
Kyle, you want Deadpool?
Yes, but Disney has to do it soon. Because I do feel like the luster of the Deadpool movies could wear off, and I feel like if you don't do it soon and capitalize on it, then it's kind of gonna lose its luster. If they did, I wouldn't be against it just being its own thing. And I think right now, like the weight on everything is because like Disney doesn't know how to handle Deadpool. They don't know whether to put him in the MCU or to make him stand alone. And it feels like they're worried so much about their brand and how it connects to Deadpool and 20th Century Studios, whatever it's called now. But I don't know. That's kind of silly to me. Like I think people don't really Like the majority of people like us who care about like what's they just want to see.
Wait, Kyle froze.
Yeah, we're losing Kyle off and on pretty bad here.
Matter, and they should just go for making a Deadpool 3, but they need to do it soon, though. I think definitely do it soon.
You did cut out there a little bit, Kyle, so there's only blips and pieces we got. But
perfect.
But
Perfect.
Sounds like you want a Deadpool soon.
Yeah, I want Deadpool soon, and I want Disney to not be afraid of how people will think of their quote-unquote brand and just make a good superhero movie, because that's what people want over caring about what brands are connected to what.
You know what I'm more concerned with Deadpool is I'm not so nervous that Deadpool loses its appeal if they wait. I'm more concerned that Ryan Reynolds loses the appeal if they wait too long, because now it feels like every movie it's, hey, I want you to be Deadpool, but PG-13 now, Ryan Reynolds. It feels like he's that in every movie now since. I've had that vibe. It could be just me. And it's sometimes worked. It kind of worked for me in Hobbs and Shaw. This movie he's supposed to be in about the video game thing, it looks like it's also going to be Deadpool. And I get that's him, but I don't want to be too bogged down by him. I don't want, because he's a talented actor. Go watch the movie Buried, and you'll see what talent that guy has. And so I don't want, if every movie with Ryan Reynolds before Deadpool is him being Deadpool, but not in a Deadpool movie, that's when I'm not going to want a Deadpool 3. But if he branches off, does some other things, it's going to make me go, I miss him as Deadpool. And then when they finally make it, I'd be more on board with it. Personally, for me, that's my concern with Deadpool is Ryan. If they do it quicker, it'll be fine because I won't be as burnt out on it. But I have felt the fatigue a little.
I think the thing is too, is especially with like Deadpool and his movies, is that like you look at kind of like the movies, like even the most kind of like grotesque movies, like of like superhero movies, like they have like a certain threshold kind of thing, and I feel like Ryan Reynolds is like a level above that in like just kind of like raunchiness, so to speak. Like it's just like he cusses a lot. And don't get me wrong, that is the character Deadpool, but like I think that's where Disney might have a little bit of trouble, is trying to incorporate it in a way that like where Deadpool is still Deadpool without being like censored all the time.
Well, that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, is that
sorry, we just couldn't hear you because you kept sorry.
I definitely understand, is that they need to not worry so much about it. Like they can use the Deadpool brand through 20th Century Studios, and the majority of audiences are gonna blink at like the difference. They're not gonna make the connection of like, oh right, this is connected to this studio who is under the Disney umbrella. How is this a Disney movie? Like they just want to see a superhero movie. They want to see Ryan Reynolds be Deadpool, and I think that they should really focus on that over worrying about brand identity. I think they would be able to be fine.
All you have to do is Deadpool breaks fourth wall. All he has to do is look at the camera and go, yep, I'm in a Disney movie. Guess we got to come up with some fun phrases to use from now on. And then the whole movie is him like making up his versions of swear words, and him catching himself or like winking at the camera when he meant to swear. That's you could do it. You can make Deadpool PG-13. I think it's harder to make a lot of the other characters R, because you're not going to suddenly have Tony Stark, or Captain America R rated. But you can with a Wolverine or a Deadpool. So I think they could do it. I'm still just more concerned about the whole fatigue of that kind of shtick, personally.
I don't know. Like Ryan Reynolds has always been Ryan Reynolds, which is the equivalent of Deadpool even before Deadpool, I think. Like if you look back at his filmography, yeah, there's movies like Buried where he's excellent and he does something different and it's great, but I don't know, like comedies, other action movies that he does, like it really is that thing that he does, and people don't seem to be that fatigued by it. Maybe there is, and I'm just not realizing it. But I don't know. I get
what you're saying
about it, but it's been done for so long, and he's able to capitalize and still be successful that I don't think it's harmful. It's not harmful yet anyway by the looks of it, but I get where you're coming from though, Alex.
I could be the only one on the planet thinking this, but it's just how I feel.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, do we got anything else to add? We're running about an hour here now. We could wrap up, or any final topics or questions we want to hit on?
One of the things I was wondering, because I have a possible answer, but what you guys think of, and I know I shouldn't be asking the question, I'm not the host, but like, what are you guys thinking of like as the possible villain for Doctor Strange 2, the multiverse?
I don't know if I know enough about the characters to think of a villain.
Yeah, the only villain that I know a lot of people are wanting out of Doctor Strange 2 would be the character Nightmare. It's a character that I'm not.
That's the one that I have. Yeah, that's the.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
I've
not
heard
too
that.
familiar with him, but that's definitely like a fan favorite that people would like to see.
I'd like the villain to be James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender. We're bridging the worlds.
Avengers versus X-Men.
Let's do it. That's what I want. I think I've heard of Nightmare, but I don't know anything about him. I think Kyle told me once. He's like, that's Doctor Strange villain.
From what I understand, he's like a ruler of the dream dimension, and kind of like leaks from he draws powers from like the fear that people get when they obviously get nightmares. So like I could see that being a thing where like he has to travel to different realities and try to figure out like, why are these people like being so, why is this happening? Why can't I sleep? Why can't this person sleep?
Heck,
I mean,
maybe
it sounds stupid as I'm saying it, but like obviously like it's gonna be like with more special effects.
Hey, maybe that's how they bring Wanda into it. Maybe Wanda is the reason that this guy Nightmare, he can sense her energy and her grieving that she's giving off through the dimensions, and it makes him real powerful, and then Doctor Strange and her have to go team up to then stop him. That could be a very easy way to do it. But yeah, any other final thoughts here? We should probably wrap up. We've been going for a good while. Anything we want to add?
Did you guys hear anything about Keanu Reeves being the possible next Ghost Rider, or is that just me speculating?
Keanu Reeves would be a great Ghost Rider.
I swear, I saw like the news about a possibility of putting Keanu Reeves as a Ghost Rider, and I was like, that would be so cool, because like Keanu Reeves is just so freaking awesome.
I think he'd be good, but if it's for a movie in the MCU, I think Disney is in
I could see him as like a secondary character, like not necessarily having, like you said, like having his own movie.
Yeah, there are many other characters Disney now owns that I think they should go ahead and reintroduce. Fantastic Four, X-Men, a lot of those guys before we get to some of those kind of more obscene characters, or bring him in to be like a villain, anti-villain somewhere along the way. I think would work probably
kind of like
better.
From Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when they had I don't remember the actor's name, but they had him as like kind of like an anti-hero during season 4 or whatever. I loved that version of him. Like that was just,
he was pretty great. Yeah,
Kyle, Keanu,
his name too.
100% loved him.
You want Keanu, Kyle?
I mean, the fit makes sense. I think the fit makes sense. I did enjoy the actor who did Ghost Rider on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I think they're not really caring about that show anyway now.
I liked Nick Cage.
Yeah, I mean, if he was cast, I wouldn't be against it. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I just don't know if I want to see his own movie again.
Right, especially with the last ones being like freaking Nicolas Cage, and you're just like, oh my gosh.
I'm gonna be honest, I never saw those movies.
I have nostalgia for the first.
You really didn't miss anything.
I have nostalgia for the first one. I remember seeing it as a kid. It kind of spooked me a little bit. I have a little bit of nostalgia. I haven't seen it since then, but I have a little bit of nostalgia. The second one I remember seeing and I didn't like, but the first one I remember being like, what's going on here?
I could barely make it through the first one. I was just like, oh my god, Nick Cage, stop.
Nick, what are you doing? Bring Nick Cage back. That's what I want.
I'm away from movies and TV shows.
Yeah, he'd be an interesting character. Like, see, I think of a character. Ghost Rider to me is a character I view kind of with Taskmaster. Like I know about him. I like him. Like I really like Taskmaster in the few comics I've read. But I like that they're bringing Taskmaster in as kind of a villain for the Black Widow movie. So I think I'd prefer to see Ghost Rider somewhere along the lines there. than anything
Okay,
else
fair enough.
right off the bat. And Keanu would be a great choice. I mean, the Keanu Sans is real. I mean, he's come back bigger than ever. So I'd be all right with it. It's good casting for sure. So any other things, Kyle, Josh, what do you got to close us out?
I think we've got all the topics that we need to talk about.
All right, then I think we'll wrap this bad boy up here. All right, well, thanks for coming on, Josh, for your first time. Let's go. You did great, my friend.
Thank
Come
you,
on
guys.
more. Hopefully, movies will come
Good luck,
back,
Joe.
and there'll be more nerd stuff to talk about. Yep. So, guys, as always, like, subscribe, and share. Again, stay safe out there. We stand with Black Lives Matter. For bringing it up at the end here. We stand with you on our small little channel here on the interwebs, but we're with you. And as always, thank you for watching, Mom.
See you guys.
Hey guys.
Bye.